Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. Let's talk about Smackdown Live. We have the Super Showdown in just over a week coming up on the WWE Network, which you can watch for just $9.99, or you can be a first-time subscriber and get your first month free, whatever the promotion is. We have the NoDQ moderators in the house, Boston Punk, Kayfabe Candy Ass, who is wearing a suit. Very cool. Let's go ahead and talk about tonight's SmackDown Live. It kicked off right off the bat with R-Truth and Carmella doing Truth TV. They basically made fun of The Miz a little bit and then introduced Daniel Bryan as the special guest. So yes, Carmella is in fact a full-fledged babyface now with a brand new black hair color. Bryan came out, they started having this conversation. R-Truth referred to Bryan as D, and then Carmella and R-Truth proceeded to start randomly dancing. What did you guys think about this? What do you guys think about Carmella's new hair? Yay or nay? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Let me know in the chat room. Is it brown or black? I thought it was black, but maybe it is brown. Maybe it's a very dark brown. I thought it was black when I was watching it, but maybe I'm just colorblind too. Who knows? Dylan says it's brown. Caitlin says the hair is okay. And Caitlin says it's maroonish. All right. I thought it was black, so whatever. It's a dark color. That's all you guys need to know. Is there really a shade of red in it? I'm confused now. People are saying there's a red tint in it. I thought it was black, so yeah, maybe I'm just colorblind. I have no idea. Caleb Jacobs is here. He's watching Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. So he's somehow watching that and NoDQ Live at the same time. Caleb Jacobs multitasking, ladies and gentlemen. What did you guys think about the dancing? I thought this was an okay segment, but it wasn't quite as funny as I was hoping it would be. I don't know. I felt like it was a little bit forced, especially the dancing part of it. I had mixed feelings. I thought part of it was funny, and then there were times where, like, I was just shaking my head. Kurapika07 says the crowd was kind of flat. Well, the thing is, half the building was empty. I mean, that was one problem. I saw a picture that somebody posted. I actually did retweet it on NoDQ's Twitter. Half the arena was tarpered off, including the lower level. Not a lot of people at this week's SmackDown. WWE did back-to-back shows in Denver. And yes, Braden, they were in Denver 2 nights in a row, one for Raw, one for SmackDown. SmackDown attendance was clearly a lot less than the Raw attendance. Just like the SmackDown Live television viewership is down from Raw. I'm really curious to see what kind of number SmackDown does this week, because Raw was really down. Raw, I believe, was the lowest viewership in the entire history of the show. I don't know that 100%, but it has been the lowest viewership for Raw in many years. Definitely in recent memory. Something like 2.35 million viewers for Raw this week. And think about this. Back during the Monday Night Wars, you would have the combined audience of Raw and Nitro often be above 10 million viewers. So you can really see how far the television viewership has gone down. Now, of course, it's not as bad as it sounds, and I'm sure Virtue will talk about this on the NoDQ review. A lot of people watch WWE on YouTube. It's becoming more and more of a thing where people are tired of sitting through the shows with commercials. Why not just go on YouTube, watch the shorter segments, and get through with it faster? It's what I would be doing, but I try to do as much of a thorough job as possible with these reviews. I feel like I need to watch the entire show to do a proper review of them. John says YouTube is the greatest website ever made. A lot of people will say that. YouTube has definitely changed the game. And yes, I agree, Donald Pleasance was the man. In my opinion, he was the guy that really made those Halloween movies. He was the glue. He was the foundation of those Halloween films. So anyways, back to the segment with Truth TV. Truth, easy for me to say, Truth TV. We had The Miz come out. He argued back and forth with R-Truth, and what did he say here? I need to look at the notes here. Oh, Miz brought up how at Super Showdown he will do anything to win, and that's the problem with Daniel Bryan, is that Bryan always plays by the rules and he's always doing the right thing, and that's going to be his downfall. So that was basically the gist of Miz's promo for his match with Bryan, but this ultimately led to the Miz one-on-one with his former partner R-Truth from back in the day, Survivor Series 2011, for those of you that remember that one. We had the Miz, of course, picking up the win over R-Truth, but hey, you know what? At least R-Truth is getting the television time. Good for him. And he's got something going with Carmella. He's getting TV time. I'm happy for the guy. So I'm not expecting him to win any big matches or anything, but hey, at least he's getting some TV time, which is really important. It's always good to have that TV time. And everybody in the chat room right now, I don't know what this says about SmackDown, but people are more obsessed with talking about the Halloween movies than SmackDown. Rico says R-Truth buried already. See, I disagree with that. I think R-Truth is getting a pretty good deal right now. He's not going to be pushed as a top guy, let's face it. But he's getting TV time. He's getting to do entertaining things on TV. That is going to elevate his stock right there. And it's better than just not being on the show at all. You know, it's better than, let's say, for instance, Harper. Harper's not getting any TV time right now. That, to me, is getting buried. When you're not even getting television time, when you don't even have anything going for you, that is getting buried. I feel so bad for Harper because he did nothing wrong. His partner got injured, and now he's suffering because of it. It just really sucks for Harper. It bugs me. Harper should have gone back to Raw. Bray Wyatt, Harper join up with Braun Strowman. You have the new Wyatt family, or reunited Wyatt family, versus the Shield. That would be way more interesting, in my opinion, than the Dog Pack or the Dogs of War, whatever they're called, feuding with the Shield. Just my opinion, though. I would have done it a different way. Whatever. It is what it is. So let's move on here. By the way, Miz did cheat to win. He used a thumb to the eyes to pick up the victory. So there you go. He even had to cheat to beat R-Truth. Next up, we had Big E versus Sheamus. We had the usual pre-match promo from New Day with the pancakes. Basically just filler, but I do like that at least Sheamus and Cesaro are getting some momentum heading into the pay-per-view. The Super Showdown, the network special, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, this is just standard booking here. You have the challengers, build up some momentum. No real issue with it. It's mostly filler. The match was fine, but it's basically just your typical build for a pay-per-view. At least the Bar won the match. I mean, that's better than them just losing heading into the pay-per-view. And Braden says, should I watch Super Showdown? I will tell you next week because I want to see the go-home shows and what WWE does. Next week, Raw is in Seattle, and you'll have Shawn Michaels on that show. And by the way, Chris Mace added that Miz did do a running knee in his match with R-Truth. And TK says, yes, Bar winning clean is a plus. Undertaker could very well show up on Raw, and we'll see what WWE does for the go-home show. SmackDown, we'll see. I don't even know if I want to attend that next week. It is going to be in Portland. I was thinking about maybe just going the last minute, and then I could come home real quick and do No DQ Live. If I do go next week, I will still be doing No DQ Live Tuesday night. There'll just be a slight delay. I'm thinking maybe 8 o'clock start time for No DQ Live. 8 o'clock Pacific, of course, 11 Eastern for those of you, most of you actually, that are on the East Coast of the United States. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I may just go over there the day of the show and check it out. We'll see. Okay, looks like Dave Shepard is spamming up the chat room. Let's go ahead and ban that guy. No, we are not checking out your big nature project crap. Nelson with a $5 super chat donation. Hi, Aaron. I support No DQ. Screw the haters. Do you think the bar will reclaim the belts soon? Interesting question, Nelson. I could see it going either way because, as I've said before, WWE, it appears that they are trying to have the New Day be the greatest tag team of all time. Not only did they break Demolition's record, but I believe the plan right now is for New Day to eventually have the record amount of tag team title wins. And in order to have all those wins, they have to lose the titles a lot too. So would not shock me if the Bar won the titles. I could definitely see that happening. Maybe they'll lose. Maybe Bar will lose and then get a rematch because whatever, WWE logic, at the Saudi Arabia show and win it there. Who knows? Where are the Usos? The Usos, see, again, you want to talk about being buried. Usos are not even getting TV time. I feel so bad for these guys because they have been one of the best things about SmackDown over the past year or two, and they're not even on television anymore. They should have gone to Raw. I think I said this when I did the Superstar Shakeup predictions. Offman rules. How far are you from the arena in Portland? I'm only about 15 minutes away. It's really close. I think I'll end up skipping the mixed match challenge if I do go. I know they're doing 205 Live before, so that's not an issue. I could watch 205 Live, check out SmackDown, and then leave when they do the mixed match challenge. And then I could be home in time, maybe 10:45 Eastern. But I'm gonna plan on 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific if I go, and that's a big if at this point. I haven't committed to anything at this point. No DQ Virtue says Orton should have attacked the Usos or somebody credible rather than Dillinger. Well, the funny thing is if Orton had attacked the Usos, if he's beating up two guys in a one-on-two situation, I could see fans really complaining about that. And even if Orton beat up one of them, somebody would say, oh, the Usos are getting buried. Hey, like I said, TV time means something. At least Ty Dillinger is getting some television time. But I'll get to that here in a few minutes. We'll get to Randy Orton and Ty Dillinger here in just a minute. So we had the Rusev Day promo, which was maybe the highlight of the show for me because, you know, I am a big Aiden English fan after all. And Rusev and Lana. They're all great. Rusev came out and called Aiden English a traitor for doing what he did on Rusev Day. You especially don't betray your friend on Rusev Day. You just don't do it. Aiden English came out, and what bugged me was the crowd started doing the what chants. Denver, you guys suck. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation. I agree 100% with Nelson. I also will always support No DQ. To hell with the jealous haters. You're awesome, Aaron. Thank you for that, Mike B. I really do appreciate it. You guys are the best. And maybe some people think I'm pandering, but you guys are awesome. I love you all. This one comes from Kevin. $20 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Kevin, for that. No comment, though. Kevin, if you got something to plug or promote, you got a question, I would be happy to answer it for you. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, I popped for Aiden's hair making a comeback. Virtue says pandering is a business model. It is, but you know what? Yeah, maybe I am pandering, kissing ass and saying I love everybody, but I really do. It's really a lot of fun to do these videos, and you guys are the reason I'm here. The the people that supported the site, they're the reason I kept going. I told this story a while back, 2001. I was done. I was going to shut down the site. I was finished mentally. And people told me, don't go. Your site is great. You do an awesome job. And it motivated me to stay. So I am truly grateful to everyone out there for supporting the site, whether you've been supporting for 10 years, 10 months, or 10 days. Doesn't matter. I appreciate every viewer. And I try to do my best job that I can. Curtis Butler says, not a time to get mushy. You're right about that. We got to review SmackDown Live. I can do more pandering at the end, or just praising, whatever, however you want to slice it. All right, so back to the Aiden English promo. He basically blamed Rusev for the group not succeeding. He said that Lana was the problem. Yeah, he really blamed it on Lana. And then he said he showed another video package, showing how they were successful. But then when Lana started getting involved, that's when everything went to hell. And then he ended the promo by telling Lana to tell Rusev about that one night in Milwaukee. So now the plot thickens. He left, and what is going on here? Did Rusev have Lana go behind his back and mess around with Aiden English or somebody else? I mean, that's the storyline here. Is it some kind of lying by Aiden English? He's just saying it to try and split them up. Who knows? But it is an interesting twist in the storyline. I like it. I'm intrigued by it. And the crowd, they were doing the what chants, but at the end they were like, oh, like they felt that was a major burn. So the crowd was into it by the end. I was really happy with it. Ken terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. Lana in English equals Trish and Christian from 2004. I will get to that here in a second. I do have a comment on that. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation. Here's another donation just because NoDQ rocks. Also, I appreciate all your hard work that you do for your viewers. Thank you for that, Mike B. You are amazing. But you all are amazing. And I will never stop pandering to you all. But seriously though, thank you. To answer Ken's question in more detail, here's what I find interesting. Is Rusev going to allow this storyline to really have any substance? Will he allow it to go to the next level, perhaps, where Lana could potentially turn against her husband in storyline? The thing is, you look at real life. When wrestlers have breakup storylines with their real life partners in storyline, we've seen occasions where life imitates art. And it's been a running joke in wrestling that if you're married to somebody in the business, you don't bring your personal life into the storyline. So I'm wondering if Rusev will be willing to go along with this, potentially a storyline where Lana reveals that she cheated on him, and maybe she turns against him and hooks up with Aiden English and becomes his storyline girlfriend. That would be really interesting. And as Harley brought up some examples for me here. Nancy Sullivan, the whole thing with Nancy and Chris Benoit. They did that storyline, and look what happened. Karen Angle, look what happened with her. And Jeff Jarrett, Lita, and Matt Hardy and Edge. Lots of these storylines over the years where life ended up imitating art. $1 super chat by NoDQ Virtue, by the way. So thank you for that, Virtue. He just wanted to do it one time. Appreciate it, Virtue. You're the man. Word Life says, so like Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy. Yeah, pretty much. And Ma Wrestling says, if only Nancy knew. Ooh, that was below the belt, Ma Wrestling. And Sean says Lita had already cheated before the storyline. Ken terminated by Google are like Savage and Liz. Savage and Liz were still together, I believe, until 1992-ish. And they had gone back together in storyline in 91. They were still together until around 92. But there have been plenty of examples where you saw real-life couples break up after a storyline breakup angle had begun. And I think really the whole Chris Benoit, Kevin Sullivan, Nancy Sullivan love triangle storyline is the best example of it. So yeah, basically, I'm a little curious to see where this goes and how far Rusev will allow it to go, knowing what has happened to real-life relationships when they become storyline breakups. And Kayfabe Candy Ass says, is this the third time they tried to break up Rusev and Lana on TV? Very well could be. I know there was past rumors about that. Dylan Folk says, your shirt is killer, Aaron. Well, thank you for that, Dylan. It is a killer shirt, I must say. All right, let's move on here. So we had a Samoa Joe AJ Styles recap leading up to the contract signing, and I'll get to that here in a few minutes. We had Asuka and Naomi against Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose with the Iconics at ringside. Basically just building up Asuka and Naomi. Filler match, not much to it. Asuka picked up the win for her team. It was fine. But again, not a whole lot to it. If anything, I think the Iconics could use a win. Maybe they'll do a match next week and get a big win. I know in Australia, most likely the Iconics are going to be the faces. So yeah, if the Iconics win a big match next week, I could see that happening. It's fine. Again, it's standard stuff, ABC booking. Nothing too noteworthy. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ty Dillinger. And Boston Punk with a $2 Super Chat donation. I hereby place a $25 bounty on Greg Cherry's title. Whoa, we got some breaking news here. Boston Punk, $25 bounty for anybody that can defeat Greg Cherry for the Wrestling Trivia Championship. Interesting. Business has just picked up. I believe Greg is already on vacation. Maybe not, but he's going on vacation with his wife, and he's going to be out of commission for a few weeks. Plus, Wrestling Trivia Challenge is on our usual break, but I'm sure he will find out about this sooner than later, and we'll see what happens with that. Very interesting there. Anthony says, I'm seeing Halloween on Rusev Day. Hey, that's as good of a day as ever to go see it. And yes, Vince, Greg is married. I know that may shock you, but he is. So Nakamura and Ty Dillinger didn't really kick into high gear because pretty early into the match, we had Randy Orton come out and attack Ty Dillinger. So I guess Ty Dillinger is Randy Orton's next victim, as he alluded to last week. Orton beat the crap out of Ty Dillinger and then just left him there. And this led to Nakamura taking the opportunity to lay out Ty when he was already down and out with the Kinshasa, and that was the segment. So maybe Randy Orton's new gimmick is he's just going to attack random people on shows until a real star steps up to him, I guess. Maybe Ty will face Randy Orton next week and get beat. Could happen. Again, at least Ty is getting some TV time. Better than nothing, right? We had Becky versus Lana, and I guess the storyline here was that Lana was not in the right frame of mind because of what happened with Aiden English's claim that something happened in Milwaukee, and then backstage Lana and Rusev were having an argument. So, it's definitely distracting Lana, and that was basically her storyline reason for losing to Becky Lynch. Becky picked up the win with the disarm her. And yeah, I agree with you, Word Life. Ty Dillinger's chant is very annoying. He's a great guy, but the chant, it had a shelf life. Let's put it that way. And yeah, the bump into the LED board was quite sick, I will say that. Rico K says spell Lana backwards. Hardy har har. Very funny there. And then finally we had the contract signing. I know this went in a different direction, which is good, but every time WWE announces a contract signing, I just shake my head because you already announced the match. You don't announce the match and then do a contract signing. I mean, what? This doesn't make any sense. You do the contract signing first, then you promote the match. Yes, Dead Troll, I'm complaining again. It's what I do. I complain about WWE for a living, and some people don't like that I put that as a joke on my Twitter profile. But again, it is what it is. I just do me. Some people understand me, some don't. But yeah, we had the contract signing. I have a very dry sense of humor, for those of you that don't know, so it may not come across when I'm being sarcastic. So I apologize if you take something seriously when I'm just joking around. But yeah, very dry sense of humor. TK says my rants are pure gold, so I do appreciate that. And Kevin says Michael Myers shirt for the win. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the contract signings in general. But at least this did go in a different, interesting direction, I guess. Paige introduced AJ Styles, and then she introduced Samoa Joe. I have a dark sense of humor too. I have a dark and dry sense of humor, so it's like a 1-2 punch. But yeah, Paige introduced Samoa Joe. He did not show up. AJ Styles was wondering what was going on, and then we saw Joe on his cell phone camera, whatever he was using, and he revealed that he was at AJ Styles' house. And then AJ was like begging him, dude, please don't go into my house. Don't do this. Don't do anything stupid. I love AJ Styles, but the acting was not good. AJ should not be doing these soap opera type storylines. Just throwing that out there. My own opinion. The delivery of his lines, it was so not believable. Not good acting. Yeah, Brady says the acting was horrendous. That's how I feel about it. Joe was good, though. I mean, Joe was good being the creepy stalker. He rang the doorbell, and then he said, Daddy's home, and then the show abruptly went off the air. So that was SmackDown. So I guess, it's funny because I've complained about WWE not doing cliffhangers, and they actually did do a cliffhanger here. And guess what? I'm still going to complain. I mean, what kind of cliffhanger is this? So did Joe break into the house and try to abduct AJ's wife? I mean, what kind of cliffhanger is this? What are they going to do next week? Are they going to reveal that the police showed up? I mean, what's the end of this? What happened here? How is WWE going to follow up on this that it'll even make any kind of sense? So it was weird to me. It was really bizarre. So I guess in that way, maybe it did work. It has me interested in seeing what's going to be the follow-up to this. But what are they going to come up with that is really going to be satisfying, I guess? Daryl Lloyd with a $13.99 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Daryl. Can barely even watch WWE television anymore beyond the network specials. Creative is terrible. NoDQ is the only reason I keep up with wrestling anymore. Great job, Aaron. Thank you for that, Daryl. I appreciate it very much. And like I said earlier, I feel like more and more people are just watching the network and maybe watching the YouTube clips. It's not like there are fewer wrestling fans than before. If anything, you still have millions and millions of fans out there. WWE has less than 3 million people watching Raw, but realistically, you probably have a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 million fans out there that are just so frustrated with the direction of WWE that they'll subscribe to the network, or they'll take advantage of the free months, or they'll go on YouTube and follow it that way. I shouldn't say millions because, I mean, they still have what? I'm not even sure what the actual network number is at this point. I think it's still under 2 million network subscriptions, but, they have a decent amount, and I'm sure people share. They give their network password to other people. I've heard people that have shared their account with like 4 or 5 people. So yeah, I think there's several million people that are still invested enough to follow what's going on in WWE, whether it's the YouTube clips or you're watching this video, you're watching me, you follow NoDQ.com. There's still people out there. So yeah, WWE can definitely boost up the viewers. Look at Raw 25. Raw 25, what did it do? Like 4.5 million viewers? I mean, it's still not 6 or 7 million viewers, but those fans are still out there, and WWE could win them back and get them hooked on Monday Night Raw again. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen as long as Raw is a 3-hour show, but I mean, clearly it's the overall product, because even though SmackDown is usually praised and usually considered to be the better show, SmackDown's viewership isn't any better than Raw. I mean, it's lower pretty much every week. And that's why I'm really curious to see what it does this week, because, usually SmackDown does about, I want to say 85% of what Raw's viewership is. So if Raw's way down, is SmackDown going to be way down? Is SmackDown going to end up under 2 million? I mean, SmackDown usually does around 2.2, 2.3 million viewers every week. Ken terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. Contract signing or F a fugly chick before married? That's an offensive question, Ken. I'm not even going to answer that one. But if anybody else wants to answer that, go for it. Thank you for the super chat, though. I will say that. Don't be a dick, though. Everybody needs some loving. Rico says, I cannot sit through a 3-hour Raw anymore. And Kevin says, bring back Shane McMahon. I don't think Shane McMahon would really make any difference. And it's so funny about Shane, too, because people are like, oh, I miss Shane. And then Shane comes back, and then people will start complaining again. So it's kind of funny how that works. Nelson with a $5 super chat donation. Which segment would you do away with? Contract signings or wrestlers running to the ring to separate a brawl? Oh, man, that's a tough one. You know what? As long as the contract signings have some kind of variation, I'll stick with the contract signings at this point. It's stupid. You don't do the match announcement first and then do the contract signing. You're doing it backwards. But at least lately, WWE has changed things up. At least they're self-aware, it seems, with the contract signings. You know, Paige even said, we all know how these contract signings end up. And there was a little twist. Joe was not even there. So at least it was something different. The pull-apart brawls, they're the same thing every single time. There's no variance. There's no change. It's always the same deal where the locker room empties, all the geeks come out. They try to separate the two guys, but the two guys always manage to break out of the pack and resume fighting. Yeah, if I'm going to get rid of one or the other, definitely the pull-apart brawls. I could be perfectly happy with no more pull-apart brawls for like 5 years. As Bradley says, they've been done to death at this point. Word Life says, I thought Paul Heyman was part of the WWE creative team. He was a long time ago. He hasn't been part of the creative team in a very long time. I wish Heyman would be brought back in some way. The thing is, you need 1 or 2 people writing the show. What's wrong with WWE right now is you have tons of people writing the show, and they're all trying to please Vince. And it was way better when you had 1 or 2 people writing the show, whether it was Russo, and I know this is a controversial thing to say, but at least Russo's shows were his ideas, and the shows were never boring. They may have been counterproductive, but they were entertaining to watch. And of course, now it doesn't even matter what WWE puts on television. So why not bring Russo back? I mean, people are going to watch no matter what at this point. WWE is going to make money no matter what. Of course, I don't know if Russo would be interested in doing a PG show. He might not want any part of that. So, I don't know. Daryl Lloyd with a $2.79 super chat donation. Show opening promos need to go the most. It's fine, but I do like when you change things up. I like when the format is not the same exact thing every single week. Sometimes it's good to have a match. Sometimes it's good to do a promo, depending on what the storylines are. But it's good to change things up and not do the same thing every single week. I just want to be entertained as a viewer. I want to see something different. And unfortunately, we really don't get things different. WWE doesn't take chances anymore. They stick to their formula and they do what Vince wants to do. And the buck stops with Vince. Ooh, and here comes Boston Punk with the big question. Would you rather ban Brie Mode theme or Sam Roberts? I really don't have anything against Sam Roberts. I really don't. I don't know the guy. I would definitely ban the Brie Mode theme. I mean, I don't think Sam Roberts is a great panel personality. I think he's very interchangeable with anybody else, but I have no problem with the guy, so I would definitely ban Brie Mode. Who do you guys prefer, Sam Roberts or Peter Rosenberg? If you had to only deal with one, who would you deal with? Let me know in the chat room. Michael Wayne says ban Pete Rosenberg. Ken Terminated by Google says, I don't even know who Sam Roberts is. And Kayfabe Candy asks, he said it, not me. I'm quoting Kayfabe. They are both the drizzling shits. Sonic says Peter Rosenberg is great. I forgot to do the letter grade, so let me do the letter grade for SmackDown Live this week. I thought it was a decent show. Not a great show. Not a terrible show. You know, pretty standard stuff. So I'm going to give it a slightly better rating than Raw, which I did settle on a C for that show. I am going to give this show a C+. Slightly above average. A little better than Raw, but it didn't really blow me away. Next week, they're in Portland. Maybe I'll go, maybe I won't. Let's put it this way. This show did not make me all that interested in going to SmackDown next week in Portland. So that's kind of how I'm judging this show. Like, did this show make me want to actually drive 15 minutes from where I live and go to SmackDown at the Moda Center? And I'm really not that interested in going. It's just going to be something I decide to do at the last minute if I decide to go. But yeah, this show really did nothing for me. C+. It was all right. Not terrible, but not great either. So that's my SmackDown review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, word of mouth. Go on Twitter, Facebook. Let people know NoDQ.com is the shit. Or it is just plain shit, depending on who you are. Not everybody likes NoDQ. Can't please everybody, but, you know, I gave up on that a long time ago. There's no way you can please everybody. Somebody is going to be a critic of what you do. And sometimes, if you're criticized, it's a good thing. You're doing something right. If people are triggered by what you say, maybe there's some truth to it. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, no DQ, fair and balanced wrestling news. But that is the best way you guys can help. Go on social media, spread the word. Word of mouth has always been what has helped the site and the channel grow. So please keep spreading the word. Tell a friend. Tell your neighbor. Tell your dog. Have your dog watch NoDQ Live with you. J&M Productions says, I like NoDQ overall because it's just real opinions and news, no bullshit. Thank you for that. And that's what I try to do. I try to just be straightforward with everything and just give my opinions, do my job, and that's it. Sonic says SmackDown needs Cena. Daryl Lloyd says 5 more minutes. Well, usually I have to pander to somebody for a super chat to go 5 more minutes, but if you guys throw me a good topic, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, just to pander even more to you guys. Walrus373 says Aaron's own cats don't even watch NoDQ. They're too busy sleeping. You know how cats are. But here's a cheap plug. AaronRiff.com. You can check out my channel, my personal channel, which is very close to 100,000 subs. And from my understanding, YouTube sends out a plaque if you get 100,000 subscribers. So I kind of want the plaque now. So if you guys can head over there, AaronRiff.com, and subscribe to that channel, that would be awesome. And spread the word. If you know somebody who likes cats, have them check that out. Kayfabe Candy asks with a somewhat wrestling question here: Shawn Michaels one more match or one more System of a Down album? Easily one more System of a Down album. I love HBK, but he doesn't need to wrestle again, in my opinion. I like Halloween 2, not Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 with the hospital. That's actually my favorite Halloween, more than the original. But I love the original too. The first two Halloweens are great. I don't like what they did to his mask in part 4. It looks too cartoonish. I love the mask, this mask from the first two movies. But I did like the storyline with Jamie in part 4. And part 5 is... I used to like part 5 as a kid, but man, I watched that movie recently. It is terrible. It is a really bad movie. But it does have its charm. Nelson with a $5 super chat donation. Do you see WWE doing the Legends matches that they teased for SmackDown 1000? Probably not. And I did mention this on NoDQ video last week. I have this bad feeling we're going to see the Legends that never really did anything on SmackDown. Guys like Ted DiBiase and Sergeant Slaughter and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. That is going to be so lame if WWE does that. They might not even do much of anything. I'm not expecting a whole lot for SmackDown 1000, to be perfectly honest with you. If we even get one semi-dream match, then I think we should be happy with that. Ken terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation. No DQ will always get an A for me. Thank you for that, Ken. I appreciate it. Mike B with a $5 super chat donation. He says, I'm already subscribed to your other channel. Also, the cats are awesome. Well, thank you for that, Mike B. Again, everyone check out AaronRiff.com. I have travel videos, which don't really get any views. I get like 100 views, which is sad. The real draw of that channel are the cat videos. I'll be perfectly honest. No one really cares about the travel videos, but I think they're interesting. So if you're interested in ever maybe visiting Portland or Oregon, those videos could maybe persuade you to come visit the Pacific Northwest. So check out the channel. I have a bunch of content on there. John says, do you have any life advice? Yes, I do. Do what makes you happy. Don't concern yourself with what others think of you. Go out there and follow your passions. Do something that you are passionate about. Life is short, and I say make the most of the time you have by doing things that you want to do. And if you don't have any passions, then I say change things up. Find new interests. The world is a vast place. There are endless opportunities for happiness. Go out there, find something, discover something new. You don't know you like something until you try something new. So that's my life advice to people. Caitlin. All right, Caitlin's keeping me on here with a $2 super chat donation. 5 more minutes again, LOL. All right, sure, 5 more minutes, but you guys are going to need to throw some topics at me to keep me going here. J&M Productions says, I miss Aaron playing Super Mario Maker and raging. I might do something like that again. I'm thinking when the new Smash Brothers comes out, I might try that. Maybe do some videos, maybe with Virtue. That might be fun, just to get like Virtue and a few other people on for a session where we play against each other and we record it. That would be really funny, actually. I might be up for that if Virtue is down, and maybe we could get a few other people to do that. Word Life says, do you see the Doctor of Thugonomics making a cameo on SmackDown 1000? That makes sense to me. I don't see any reason for him to not be there. He's going to be at the Super Showdown. He was a big part of SmackDown Live, so yeah, I would 100% have John Cena on SmackDown 1000. I know a lot of people are talking about The Rock. I hope The Rock is there. No guarantee, but he should be there. It's his show. It's a milestone, SmackDown 1000. I'm just not going to get my hopes up about it, though. I only have a Nintendo Switch. I've always been a Nintendo loyalist. I've never owned any other system like Xbox or PlayStation. I barely play video games these days. I just don't really find the time to do it. I'm just so busy with other stuff. And once I get involved in a game, you know how it is. If you're playing a game, you get involved with it and you just lose track of time. And before you know it, the day is over and you've been playing a video game the whole day. Nothing wrong with it. I love video games, but I have so many other things I'm doing all the time. I just don't find the time for it, really. Nelson with a $2 Super Chat donation. Who is your go-to choice for the WWE games? Well, like I said, I only played the Nintendo consoles. So I played No Mercy. I pretty much played them all. I played WWF Attitude, back then Super Nintendo with Super WrestleMania and Raw. And then later, of course, Day of Reckoning, WrestleMania 19. Those were outstanding games. And of course, you guys, for those of you not familiar, look up NoDQ CAW. That was the fantasy video game league that myself and Wade Needham, Tommy McCardle, we were doing that stuff over a decade ago. And it was really popular. I mean, pretty much everyone's doing something like that now. But back then, nobody was doing it. We were the first ones. And Wade, give Wade credit. He was actually the guy that started the very first, to my knowledge, anywhere on the internet, the very first CAW league where he posted a video of guys having matches and doing commentary on it and doing storylines and producing videos like that. Marcus the God with a $5 Super Chat donation. You guys are going to keep me up all night here. All right, Marcus the God says, I thought your top 15 women list was off, but good video. Some of the picks, though. Hey, I mean, it's very subjective. Everybody is going to have a different opinion. Mike B with a $5 Super Chat donation. F it, one more donation just for the hell of it. Have a great night. Thank you for that, Mike B. But about the top 15 video. I try to look at all sorts of different things, not just any one particular category. I look at in-ring skills. I look at promos. I look at the overall look of the character. And I look at longevity. And I look at the impact that the character made on the business. I add all these things up to try and make this list. And it's tough. I was going back and forth, and eventually I just start to drive myself nuts trying to put everything in the right order. Sometimes I overthink it. Sometimes I feel like I just have to go with my gut and just go with what I feel after watching wrestling all these years, what I think the proper order is. For those of you that disagree with me about that list, and I am going to do more, by the way, Dead Troll. I'm going to do a factions one, a feud one. I mean, I did do some of these videos like 5 years ago, but they're dated. I felt like it's time to do some new videos and just talk about some of the more current events going on. Okay, Michelle McCool. I was never a big fan of hers. I felt like she was very average at best in the ring. Generic look. I mean, she's an attractive woman, but I mean, she's just average to me. There was nothing about her promos, nothing about her screamed top tier superstar. Just my opinion though. I thought she was very average all around when you look at all the attributes. So that's why she was not in my top 15. And people said, well, Lay Cool was a good gimmick, but Lay Cool is really just WWE's version of the Beautiful People, really. So it's not like it was even an original gimmick. Chris Mace with a $5 Super Chat donation. There should be a shirt with the hashtag Stand Up for No DQ. Also, how bad are Bliss and Banks injured to be pulled from the Mixed Match Challenge? I don't know what's going on with Sasha Banks. Apparently, there is some kind of undisclosed injury with her that has not been made public yet. And I guess time will tell. I'm guessing eventually we'll find out more information about that. But that's really interesting. What's going on with Sasha? And it feels like the Bayley-Sasha feud is dead in its tracks right now. And Tony says, I remember the playlist made in 2002. That's how I discovered you on YouTube. Good to hear, Tony, and that's also why I'm doing it, because it can always draw in new people to the channel. It's a good way to get views. And I just felt I was due to make some updated videos with my thoughts. Nelson with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, Nelson. You've been awesome tonight. All of you have. Only one I disagree with the list is AJ Lee being better than Chyna. I was really torn with those two. The thing about Chyna is I thought she was a great performer overall. Not the best wrestler, but she held her own with the men. Chyna did a lot of firsts. But I feel like AJ Lee was just more real. Like, you could identify with her more. And I felt like AJ Lee, as far as wrestling history goes, Chyna came in, she made a big impact. She did a lot of firsts. But when she left, she was pretty much forgotten about, which is unfortunate for her. And I think she should get more recognition. But I think like AJ Lee really made the change. She was different from the other divas, and I think because of AJ Lee's success, that opened the door for Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, all them, because of AJ Lee, I think really got the opportunities. So yeah, I really feel AJ Lee, just with all the attributes, she was just a real superstar, and you could just identify with her. She was the real deal. Darren Lloyd with a $2.79 super chat donation. They should publicly fire Road Dogg at SmackDown 1000. I don't know if Caitlyn would like that comment. I shouldn't say anything. Caitlyn told me not to, but she's a big Road Dogg fan. I'll just leave it at that. Hey, Caitlyn told me to stay on 5 more minutes, so I got to come up with material here. I got to roast her a little bit. Marcus the God with a $2 super chat donation. Alundra Blaze, Sasha should be higher. All right, I will explain both of them real quick here. And before I get to that, Chris Mace with a $2 super chat donation. How many cats do you have? I have 15 cats right now. Are you serious? Do you really have 15 cats? Pictures or it didn't happen. So, Alundra Blaze. I thought she was the champion of a boring period in WWE. Let's face it, the women's division isn't something people really remember from that era. Alundra Blaze, she was the champion. She was brought in from WCW. There were really only 2 women, 2 or 3 at one time. You had Alundra and Bull Nakano, and then nobody else. And then once the Bull Nakano feud was over, you had Bertha Faye come in. And it was bringing in one person to feud with Alundra Blaze. And the matches didn't really blow me away. I thought they were just okay. I don't even remember them. I think Alundra Blaze was okay, but Medusa had a much greater legacy. And Medusa was a WCW character. Medusa had some memorable segments with the Dangerous Alliance, being there with Rick Rude. And then when she came back, I felt like Medusa was a bigger star than Alundra Blaze. So if this was a list for wrestling overall, keep in mind, this was strictly WWE. Top 15 WWE superstars of the modern era, which is why Fabulous Moolah wasn't on the list, because her body of work is largely pre-1984. If it was all of wrestling, then yeah, Alundra Blaze / Medusa would be up higher on the list. No doubt about it. She just barely made the cut. She was close, by the way. She was like honorable mention. Her and Bayley were. Sasha is not higher because I feel like Sasha's stock has really gone down over the past several months. She was involved in some firsts, but I feel like WWE has really damaged her character. And yeah, I feel she can bounce back, maybe get higher on my list down the line. But right now, I'm saying right now, September 2018, she's my number 15. Could change, but I feel like most recently, she's just not been at that level. She's just a woman on the roster. doesn't feel like anything significant. All right, Caitlin, you guys are keeping me here on a marathon. Caitlin with a $2 super chat donation. I liked Road Dogg and the New Age Outlaws, not now. So there you go. Caitlin just clarifying her thoughts on Road Dogg. Yeah, I loved the New Age Outlaws. Great tag team, very entertaining. But Road Dogg, let's face it, he is a company man. And he's going to say what the company wants him to say. And he's going to put together television that Vince and Triple H want. It's the way it is. He's just doing his job. So you can only hate on Road Dogg so much. He's one person. He's one person out of dozens in the creative process. So to fire Road Dogg, it's not going to do any good. He's just one guy. You need a change with the whole way that things are done in WWE, and it's not one person. Nathan Washington says, do you like the Jim Johnston way or the CFO's way as far as music? Jim Johnston, 100%. I mean, no contest for me. I like Glorious Domination. I like Shinsuke's theme, Rising Sun, whatever it's called. And there are a couple others that I like. But, I mean, I think overall, it's easily Jim Johnston. No question about it. Jim Johnston was just great at coming up with theme songs and really setting the tone for the characters. The music, they don't necessarily character. And my Nelson with a $2 super chat donation. Why was Molly Holly not on the list? That's a great question. She was another honorable mention. She was really close. And I think she deserves a lot of credit. She was a great worker in a period when there were not a lot of them. So Molly Holly deserves a lot of credit. I feel like she was maybe in the wrong era. I feel like if she was in wrestling today, she would have been a major star. So yeah, I think people tend to overlook her a little bit. She would be in my top 25 for sure, though. And same thing with Ivory. She was a great performer. She had some longevity to her. But neither of them were really top-tier superstars in WWE. They were not at Chyna's level or Trish's level or Lita's level. They were more the undercard. But they were, one could argue, they were the backbone. Same thing with Victoria. You could argue that they were the backbone of that era, and they were the ones, they were the workhorses. And they do deserve some recognition and credit, no doubt about it. But that was a $15 video. That was a top 15 video and not a top 25 video. And somebody was like, why was Tori Wilson not on your list? Tori was hot. I mean, let's face it. She got hired because of her looks. She was not a good wrestler, not a good promo, but she looked damn good in a bikini. And a lot of guys had some good fantasies about her. So, Tori Wilson, if this was the hottest women of all time list, yeah, Tori would be at the top. Same thing applies to Stacy Keibler. But yeah, people saying, why wasn't Stacy on the list or Tori? They weren't really wrestlers. They were models that were brought in and they did matches, but they weren't really all that good. They were known for their lingerie, I can't even say it. You know, guys know what I mean. Their bra and panties matches. How about that? And Sable's almost in the same category. I think Sable wasn't really around that much. She made a big impact in a short period of time, but she faded away rather quickly. And Chyna, I think, became a bigger star in the long run. Trish became a bigger star in the long run, and so on and so forth. And yeah, oh, quick plug, by the way, Boston Punk. You should go check out my dad's music. He is very influenced by somebody like Frank Zappa. It's weird. It's in-your-face rock and roll. It's very anti-authority. Go check it out. Zoog's Rift. That's ZOOGZ Rift over on Spotify or iTunes. Quick plug for my dad's music. So go check it out. So on that note, I will finally go ahead and wrap up this video. This was a great video. We had an amazing chat here. Thank you guys so much for everything. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. We will have the NoDQ review. We'll talk more about what happened on Raw and SmackDown and all that good stuff. And I'll be back later this week for NoDQ video, as well as maybe another top 10, top 15 video. I'm thinking factions or feuds. Stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll do 2, who knows. So that's all for NoDQ Live this week. I will see you guys next time.